Joan, did you know that Rembrandt painted over 90 self-portraits in his lifetime?
Well, you know, that's very good for Rembrandt, but one of today's artists has painted over 900 self-portraits, and in the nude.
Do you think he still uses the mirror, or has he got it down to memory now?
I think he probably knows what he looks like, and probably so do the people who live with him.
I didn't imagine his family around on the sofa. Anyway, welcome to Sky Arts Portrait Artist of the Year.
A fresh heat brings with it 9 new artists ready to put brush to canvas. And today, 4 of them are amateurs. Stephen Johnson, Amy Eccleston, Samira Addo and Kate Webb.
I do research into robotics. But today I'm going to be able to spend the whole day painting, which is actually a luxury for me.
And joining them are 5 professionals. Leanne Pierce, Linton Palmer-Hemsley, Radovan Bowlcar, Lauren Carter-Bridges and Phil Tyler.
They've used my painting for one of the posters outside the gallery. So I've got a very miserable-looking self-portrait staring at everybody, frightening them to death as they walk into the Wallace collection.
Working in the very public setting, our artists have to capture a likeness of one of 3 well-known sitters.
She's got a great face, really strong features, and she's perfect.
But there's a time limit.
4 hours is not a massive amount of time. It's going to be quite rough painting, I think.
And 3 very discerning judges to convince.
It's a strange medium, and I think it hasn't done her any favours.
At stake is a once-in-a-lifetime prize, a £10,000 commission to paint award-winning Hollywood actress Kim Cattrall for the permanent collection of the Walker Art Gallery in her home city of Liverpool. So, which artist has the talent to earn a place in the semi-final?
I love preliminary sketches, but yours are the absolute bare bones of practicality.
I'm quite a lazy artist, what can I say?
As our artists set up their workstations with everything they might need for the challenge ahead, it gives us a chance to study the self-portraits they entered with. But can the judges unravel the stories behind them?
I love this. I like the fact that it's such a slight painting, but the gaze is so stern.
Actually, she's not looking at us, she's obviously looking at herself, and I think I like that concentration.
I want to know the narrative here.
Oh, I thought you didn't like narrative.
Well, I've learned. I've learned here.
Who did you learn from, Joan?
I wonder.
It looks like after bath time at home, but underlying it, the rough handling, it makes it something much more. It's terribly romantic, isn't it?
It's nice to be a little bit of Jesus.
Funny enough, I think I've spotted the artist and he shaved his beard off and he doesn't look quite as Jesus-like.
Oh, smartened up a bit.
Yeah.
Now, I was surprised how large this painting is. It's a really substantial piece of work.
That different treatment on the shirt as opposed to the face, I love that. The tones and the colours here are like an old pack of Spangle sweets. You know, they're really delicious.
It's a man alone at night trying to sort of work out who he is. So it's got all that sort of existential angst, I think, coming off it.
Well, here's a face we know because Lyndon has submitted before and he's not given up yet.
No, we felt that he deserved a place again. We felt that there was a real development.
The mastery of the pencil, you really get the feeling of the surface.
I think a brilliant narrative, you know, the beer bottle, the hair extension, kind of really catapulted into this person's moment in time.
You've got a simple head, but it has a huge story in that. It's the contemplation of the self. I get the feeling that she's quite young. It feels very young and energetic.
Someone wearing his running shoes, so he clearly enjoys being a runner as well as a painter.
I think that use of blue is fantastic as a colour that's coming from underneath.
Now we're going to meet them, see if they live up to what we've deduced from their portraits.
Our artists may have been able to paint their own likeness, but how will they fare with a perfect stranger who just happens to be famous?
Artist, your sitter today has been in music and broadcasting for about 32 years. He's a brilliant actor, a brilliant singer. He once made me cry in Sweeney Todd. He's the fabulous Michael Ball.
Celebrated for his glorious singing voice, Michael is also a double Olivier Award winner and has been honoured with an OBE for his services to musical theatre.
Please.
Oh, nice chair.
How are you? So it's fabulous to have you on.
I'm thrilled. I love this programme.
Oh, thank you.
I really do.
I'm imagining the walls of your home are covered with portraits of you. Is that fair?
No. Something's gone wrong. I've never sat for a portrait, so I'm hoping I can sit still for the time. I've only got one request of the whole thing. 20 years younger and 2 stone lighter.
Sorry, it's not going to happen.
I'm thinking of this more as an airbrush rather than a portrait.
Look, if you're going to look 20 years younger, we'll have to get rid of the chair and get a buggy.
Yeah, love you. I love you.
Artist, let me introduce you to the person you'll be studying for the next 4 hours. He's an actor who's been in some of the most popular television series recently. Please welcome the enormously talented Robert Bathurst.
He became a household name in the much-loved television series Cold Feet, but Robert secured global recognition by playing Sir Anthony Strallan in the award-winning drama Downton Abbey.
Robert, welcome.
Thank you very much.
Well, we've put you in a rather dramatic setting here, rather theatrical, ruched.
Splendid, yeah, and I'm really, really interested to see what happens.
Sometimes when actors have got lines to learn, they sit and throughout the day they're running through the lines. Have you got any lines you need to practice?
I've got 2 hours of poetry which I'm learning. One's very serious and one's very funny, so maybe you can tell which one I'm working on at any one time.
Artist, your sitter today is an extremely versatile broadcaster. You could see her with her wellies on Country File. You could see her in her heels on Strictly Come Dancing. She can do it all. She is Anita Rani.
Anita's broadcasting career started at the age of just 14, and she has gone on to become an established presenter on The One Show, Watchdog, and This Morning.
Hello, Frank.
How are you?
I'm good, I'm nervous.
It's an interesting combo
Yes.
that you've got there. And I
It's really
like
weird,
it
isn't it?
because
It's really confusing.
there is something extremely elegant about the... What would you call that as a
It's
god?
called a dupatta. Indian women wear them draped over their shoulders. You know, I had to have something a little bit ethnic. And
Yes.
pink is the Indian navy blue, so basically I'm quite dull in terms of Indian attire. But I thought, you know, something a bit bright.
I think it looks gorgeous. OK, what would you sort of like, ideally, what would you like from Anita?
Anita's got a great smile, so it would be...
Depends what she can hold
a nice, smiley portrait would be
Can
good.
you smile for 4 hours?
We'll find out.
Yeah, I think that might be a bit much to ask.
What would you like to do with your hands? I think they look great against your black trousers.
Against that,
So, yeah,
gnarled old
perfect.
hands. And if I'm thinking about my poetry, if I'm looking into the middle distance here...
I think,
Great.
find
Pick a spot.
and keep looking at
Could I just move your leg over there? No, I'm joking.
Something natural, you mean?
What you were doing anyway was really exciting.
OK.
Artist, your challenge is about to begin.
You have 4 hours to complete your portraits. Good luck, and your time starts now.
Today, the preliminary work of the portraits is starting in a variety of ways. 4 artists are taking photographs.
If I could just get like a slight smile so I can see dimples.
4 are sketching. But 1 doesn't start with an image at all.
Please, would you share something with me? What music would you be listening to now, if you could?
Oh, right now, the mood I'm in, I'd probably listen to the new Laura Marling album.
Oh, good choice.
She's amazing.
I actually already have that on my playlist, so I shall listen to it for the both of us.
Oh, I'm so jealous.
I think music is really revealing about someone. Finding out what kind of music, not so much what their music taste is, but what they would be listening to right now, I think tells you more in one question than anything else.
Professional artist Lauren Carter Bridges gave up her jewellery business 2 years ago to pursue her love of art. Her self-portrait is a celebration of motherhood, capturing the moment she and her daughter shared their last clean towel. Painted in oils, it took 20 hours to complete.
I love preliminary sketches, but yours are the absolute bare bones of practicality. What have you gained from doing that?
Because I can see that to make a smaller head on this one and fit more of the outfit in, there's just something more pleasing about this that's mostly head.
I see.
You know, I don't need more than that. I'm quite a lazy artist, what can I say? I'm maybe, of the 4 hours we're sat here, I might spend 1 with actual brush to canvas.
From working in front of the public to painting a celebrity sitter, for many of our artists, today is full of new experiences.
This is the first time I'll be painting someone from life. Normally, I tend to paint my grandma or family members and friends from photos. My grandma's my biggest influence. She buys me paints, paint brushes, everything. She's always encouraged me.
Self-taught amateur artist Samira trained as a civil engineer. While at university, she took up painting and now spends most days at her Bermondsey studio in London. Using acrylic for her self-portrait, she challenged herself to use a similar palette across the painting. She only recently taught herself to use oil paints by watching YouTube videos.
This is pretty good for someone who's picked it up on YouTube. You've obviously practiced a lot.
Well, yes. For the past year or so, I've been working with oils. I did acrylics beforehand for like 5, 6 years.
And you prefer oils?
It's what I've been painting with recently, so it's what I feel most comfortable with at the moment.
What is it about them in particular that you like?
I like the fact that I can kind of mix the colours on the canvas. And
because it
mess around
stays
with
wet?
Yeah, so I can mess around with the texture a bit more so.
I'm excited to see where you take this.
It's going to be quite rough painting, I think. I'm not going to have to concentrate on details, you know. 4 hours, it's not a massive amount of time. So what I wanted to do, I wanted to get the likeness.
You have such a cool accent. It's Yorkshire mixed in with a bit of Czech.
Yes.
Professional artist Radovan Bolkar came to the UK to study contemporary fine art at St John University in York and has recently been working on a commission for a church in Birmingham. His self-portrait took him 15 hours and is inspired by the style of the old masters.
Are these the only colours you're going to use?
Yes. Mixing these colours, you can pretty much get any colour you like.
It looks so spare, and yet you're very expressive in your painting.
Thank you.
I've been playing around with which colours are going to get me to the mix as quick as possible. I'm going to try and maybe stick to the absolute minimum colours, makes things less complicated.
Linton Palmer Hemsley is a professional artist with a 30-year career in advertising before he became a full-time painter 4 years ago. Linton has appeared in Portrait Artist of the Year before, creating portraits of Sophie Turner and Ashley Jensen. So will this be third time lucky?
You're not sick of us yet?
Are you sick of me?
No, we're not sick of you. Delighted to see you. And this is looking really different to what we've seen before.
Is this thicker than usual? You don't start, do you usually start this thick?
No, I do, yeah. I kind of start all my paintings quite sculptural and just work and work and work at them. I mean, it thins out as I go along. I'm hopefully I'm going to have some fun when the pressure's off.
OK, yeah, this
Is
will be...
the pressure ever off?
No. Do you know, I kind of don't enjoy painting. I never understand people who paint for pleasure.
It's heartache, isn't it? One of my students says you can't write painting without pain.
Yeah,
that's exactly it.
Our artists are approaching the 1 hour mark.
He's very colourful, wearing a very colourful shirt, got a very colourful background, chair. It's quite colourful, really. I'm gonna maybe introduce it into some parts of his face, but I'm not sure yet.
I'm starting with big shapes and working in, chiselling away at it. Lots of paint so I can move it around with my hands a little bit later on.
It's worth taking just the time to get the feel of her features for now. If I don't, it could all go horribly wrong.
During the last hour, each of today's 9 heat artists have used various methods to capture on canvas Michael Ball, Robert Bathurst and Anita Rani.
Try and get my drape right.
And each artist has their own system to help produce the perfect portrait.
Your palette should be as big as your painting. And, you know, more often than not, students work on the tiniest bits of paper and they wonder why their paintings look muddy. So I've got a roll of cellophane and I've put my cellophane over the table. And when that gets a complete mess, I'll just scrape all up the cellophane, put it in the bin and give myself a fresh palette.
Brighton University lecturer Phil Tyler has been teaching art and painting for over 30 years. His submission was painted from a series of photographs he took in a darkly lit toilet at work. Over the years, he has managed to produce more than 900 naked self-portraits.
Is it really over 900?
Yeah, probably. My mum died 21 years ago and I became quite obsessed then by painting myself naked in the bathroom.
You must know every centimetre of your body.
Well,
so there's parts I haven't been to for years of mine.
It has changed over the years.
And how's Michael for you as a sitter? Is that
absolutely brilliant? I couldn't have asked for a better model.
It's a shame he's got clothes on, really. Now
I'm sure another time we could organise something.
Well, I'm going to leave that to you and Michael to sort out.
We'll exchange emails.
I'm not going to broker this deal.
No.
Can I just say that?
To structure their compositions, some artists go by eye, others use viewfinders. But some get scholarly and use a mathematical equation called the golden ratio.
There are certain points on the canvas which are said to be more pleasing for the eye, and to find those points there's a calculation which the ancient Greeks came up with. 1.618. It's just about where you place the eyes, where you might put the top of the head, that kind of thing.
2 years ago, when amateur artist Stephen Johnson turned 50, he gave up his long-standing career as a graphic designer for full-time study at Heatherley's School of Fine Art. In approaching his self-portrait for the competition, he wanted to record 2 of his favourite pursuits in life, drawing and running.
I can't but notice that on the table here, the book is opened at a Vermeer painting. He is a great master. What are you learning from Vermeer?
Vermeer, I think, is about metaphor, particularly the one that I have. There's lots of suggestion about the sitter's character.
So you're looking for clues?
Yeah.
Which will inform the painting?
Something beyond the likeness, so something that says something about the sitter, which is not the face or the immediate recognition of another human.
To cope with the limitations of the 4 hours, some take a tactical approach.
Usually I tend to use pencils for my portraits, but a portrait could take me weeks to actually finish. So today I've decided to do pastels. I can get more done in a shorter amount of time.
With a fine art degree from Plymouth University, Amy Eccleston is an amateur artist who usually produces photorealistic images. A desire to capture a chaotic year she'd had in her personal life led to her drawing herself after a night out. It was a therapeutic process that took her 3 weeks.
You sketched in the outline and white, and now you bring the skin tones in, and then you blend them with your finger.
I do with my finger, yeah. It's just a matter of blocking it in, so it's going to look very rigid and structured at the moment, but then I'll start blending in more colours. I'll start putting more detail in with the chalk pencils.
So have you done the more detail already on the eyes? Is that
I
the
have
level
on the
it goes?
eyes, yeah, because I found that if I didn't do the eyes first, that's what would always let down the portrait, so I have to start with the eyes first.
Great, I'm looking forward to seeing how it evolves.
The setting in which a sitter is placed and the clothes they wear all have their impact on the portrait-making process.
We've set Michael Ball against a pink room. Is that appropriate, do you think?
Well, I think it's quite a brilliant juxtaposition because he's very serious in what he does, and yet his character's really playful and really fanciful. We always know some of the artists will refer to it quite explicitly and some of them will leave it out. But even if they don't get an actual pink background, that pink reflects onto his face. That tone will have to be there in some way.
Can I just say thank you for putting me in a blancmange? What's with the pink?
I'm slightly fascinated by this sort of Indian pink. A lot of people are doing a sort of head and shoulders shot, and that shock of pink in the corner, I think is going to feel really significant.
It works in the shawl. I think it might be difficult on the lips. I think in this particular case, all 3 artists having difficulty with her likeness. I think it's because she's moving so much.
I'm guessing you're the sort of artist that doesn't like much chat from the sitter.
Like the sitter nailed to their chair.
So I think I'm doing the artists a disservice by moving around too much, and I don't want them to mess these paintings up, so I'm going to try and sit as still as I possibly can.
Robert is a tremendous presence, isn't he? The shirt, the setting, the blue behind and his blue eyes, it works, doesn't it?
The tones together are absolutely perfect. It's very difficult to ignore a shirt like that. And actually, even if they do ignore it, I think it can still be important because it tells you something about the man. It tells you something about the sitter himself.
And these clothes make us extremely serious people.
Yes, well, we are, yeah.
I chose this shirt because I wanted to keep them busy.
And by chance, the set colour perfectly suits one artist's process.
I tend to paint on blue. I see that colour in skin, so it's just me replicating what I'm seeing. As soon as I have accomplished the face and the skin, I'll concentrate on the background and the shirt.
Professional artist Leanne Pierce gave up her admin job in a law court to focus on art. Painted specifically for the competition, she used a thinning medium for her self-portrait in order to see the colours through the layers.
You've got quite a small brush.
I've only just started with a small brush.
I was going to say, because I feel like I'm looking at strokes that are made quite big and bold.
Yeah, so I've just started with oils.
OK.
So this is all done with acrylic.
OK.
And now I'm going to go in with finer detail.
I get the impression you kind of feel your way through it, that you don't necessarily have a strict plan that you have to adhere to.
I never have a plan, really.
OK, so you're going to keep us on our toes all day, then?
Settling on the right composition and medium can take several tries, and it can be even more challenging with a restless sitter.
Anita, if you could just hold the pose for a little while just so I can... Yeah, thank you.
No, that's fine.
After charcoal and pastel, will watercolour finally capture Anita's personality?
Anita has the most fabulous face, but I'm hoping she's going to settle down. It's fine for her to move sometimes, but she needs to get back to the same place and stay there.
Originally from Australia, Kate Webb has been a professor of robotics at Edinburgh University for over 15 years. She painted her watercolour submission in a 2-hour sitting, using a mirror to try to capture her sceptical gaze.
So you don't do this professionally, is that right?
I build robot insects.
You are kidding me. That's the best job I've ever heard of in my life.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's quite fun.
Any other interests you've got?
Well, yes, music is the other one. So,
Music, OK.
Yeah, so I play music, medieval music. So I play a harp.
You play medieval music, make robot insects and paint?
Yes.
If you were on Tinder, that would be the best ever profile.
Near the halfway point, some artists are trying to get a fresh perspective.
I've turned my painting upside down, and it's not because I've gone mad. Your eyes get tired by turning the painting upside down. It forces me just to see in the shapes correctly, and hopefully then paint it more accurately. But we'll know when I turn it back round.
Right, Phil?
Yeah, I've started a second one.
The second one?
Yeah, it's quite nice to be jumping between one painting and another, and that gives you, hopefully, some fresh eyes.
Time is going so quickly. I'm just curious to see how it's going to turn out, to be honest.
I think I've got the features roughly correct. The time seems to be running away with me.
After 2 hours, the artist's portraits of Anita Rani, Robert Bathurst and Michael Ball are evolving in a variety of ways, and the judges have been watching every mark they make.
This is probably my favourite part of the day. Will they, won't they? It's like spinning plates, isn't it? Some will fall and shatter, but some will continue to revolve.
I want to say, Robert is sitting there like an Easter Island head, and I think his section, and especially Samira, have caught him very quickly.
I like what she's doing. I'm sort of waiting for the next stage because I want the colour and the vibrancy and the kind of emotional content of the submission. I want to see a little bit of that.
Leanne has got this fantastic, huge head. She started blocking in with acrylics, and now she's starting to get the subtleties in with oil paint. I think she's going great guns.
What about the paintings of Anita?
For a long time, the three of them were struggling with trying to get the likeness. I mean, Linton, he's painted a very beautiful head. I don't really see her in it.
Not yet. I mean, it's still at quite a sculptural stage, isn't it? I like the way he's building her from the different colours and tones.
But the one that really jumps out for me is Lauren's, because I think she's sort of spent the time, and I'm really beginning to see Anita emerge from it, actually.
What about the portraits of Michael?
I'm really pleased that Phil's given us the entire scene. I really admire an artist when they give us the set and we get a sense of what it's being like here today. Don't know who it's of yet. There's not much of a face.
But that's the difficult thing, I think, when you work on a full length on that scale of canvas, the head becomes very small. So how do you get that level of detail?
And Amy?
I loved her submission, but I just think because of the way that she's doing it in the pastels, it just looks like a bit like street art.
That's where, if she'd stuck with the pencils, the graphite, I think she'd probably been a bit safer.
It's fascinating, actually, how they're coping with people milling around and people talking to them. I'm choosing not to look at what anyone's doing, but it's fascinating watching people's reactions when they're looking at the canvases and sort of gauging what their response is.
Painting's normally a solitary thing, and to be doing what they're doing with all this stuff going on around them, you know, it's really difficult. So my job is simply to give them focus back, really.
Everybody has a hang-up about their face. Come on, the hooter, massive, Indian. Nothing I can do about that, genetic, it's fine. It's the imperfections that make us who we are.
Phil, it's really exciting watching you because we've got this entire body, we've got the set, we've got the chair, and we haven't quite got the face yet. It's just, I keep getting really excited. Oh, there it is. There he is, wow, okay. And which one would you rather go with, the landscape or the portrait?
Well, I think compositionally, I quite like that.
Right.
You know, this one, it might surprise me. I'm going to work on that for a little while.
You're reckless, I like it.
Now, this is really interesting. This is your watercolour, but over your shoulder is a drawing in pastel, which you've done.
That's right. I might go back to it in a moment. It's annoying me that it still seems to look more like her somehow.
Yeah.
Do you want to vote on which one I should submit?
Just 30 minutes of the challenge remain.
The thing that's worrying me the most are the eyes, you know. You have to get it right, I think, to make you look like the person, you know.
I think the eyes are crucial. So I'm trying to get the eyes right at this minute, and then everything from the eyes.
I'm worried about the eyes because they're missing at the moment. I've left the eyes until last because it's a different colour. That's the bit I'm most scared about, I think.
For the last 4 hours, the likenesses of Anita Rani, Michael Ball and Robert Bathurst have been emerging onto the canvases.
The eyes turned out okay in the end. Now it's done, I feel a bit more free.
I've just a few more bits to do, and then I'll be slapping some pink on and seeing what happens.
Artists, you have just 5 minutes left. 5 minutes.
I mean, it's never gonna be finished, you know. I'll do what I can and that's it.
I just want to add, like, the little bit of detail. That's my aim for the last few minutes.
There's a lot more I could do to it, but I feel that it's quite solid painting, but it's much more impressionistic than I would normally do.
Artists, your time is up.
Put down your equipment and stand back from your portraits.
Throughout the day, Anita, Robert and Michael have refrained from taking a sneaky peek at their portraits, but their restraint is about to be rewarded.
Michael.
Yeah.
Is it the longest you've ever been silent?
Been silent and had to try and sit still. I found it fascinating watching the 3 entirely different techniques and styles.
In that case, this moment will be incredibly special. Just hold on to that chair.
Yeah.
Artists, will you please turn your easels?
Gosh. They are nothing like I thought. Wow. That's fabulous. I love the boldness of the strokes that are going on there.
Oh, sweet.
Well done, kids.
Thank you.
Wow. The first thing that hits you are the eyes. Oh, this is going to be a nightmare. Oh, that's beautiful. Extraordinary.
But again, those eyes of yours.
Those eyes, those beautiful eyes.
I got a tingle, I hope you did too.
They're so different and they're all so good in their own ways. I am going to go for... I'm going to go for Rad.
Thank you.
Wow. Very, very interesting. Thank you all. It's lovely, and I love the freedom of it.
Great slabs of paint.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. Oh, it's good. I'd love to. I mean, it's a really good likeness, and it's got a sort of stillness to it. Love the skin tones. I think they're really adventurous and interesting, and and sculptural. No, well done, lovely, really good.
Well,
Yes.
this is the moment of truth.
I will take home with me Leanne's.
Oh, wow. Oh, my goodness me. Wow. And that's not your watercolour?
That's the first one I did.
What made you pick this one, then?
I just felt it was more you.
It's definitely me. It's amazing. It's amazing. It's one of those that draws you in and you just want to keep looking at it. I absolutely love it, Lauren.
Thank you.
That is incredible. I think it's beautiful.
But as so often with this show, all very different as well.
All three of them are completely different. I'm going to pick Lint's.
Thank you.
Now able to get up close to the completed pieces, the judges can really get to study each of the portraits.
He's definitely got his character.
And it is a fantastic likeness, and I think it's better than his submission because he's introduced colour.
Do you know what I'd like to do is just turn back the clock and see her do it in pencil. I don't think this colour works at all.
It's a strange medium, and I think it hasn't done her any favours. What is interesting, he did two versions of this, and it's amusing that he's presenting us with this one, because as I look at it, his shoes are shunted out this way.
I think it's very jewel-like, though. I do. There's something quite special about it. He understands how the colours work well against each other.
This was hard to watch because I felt that there was a great painting around lunchtime, and then in the course of the afternoon, I watched it slightly slip away. I think it's been overworked.
I was really worried about this earlier in the day. I couldn't see a likeness. And then suddenly he did something. I think it was around the eyes. There's definitely something of her there, and I love that sort of filmic sense, you know, that reflects what she does in her working life. There's something not quite right with this side, isn't there? I think it's difficult for artists sometimes when they can only see a profile. They so desperately want to see the other eye that they put it in there even though they can't see it. It's almost Picasso-esque, but you know, it's not meant to be here.
He's caught Robert a little bit.
I think he sort of came in and out, Robert. He was really there at the beginning with the sketch. And then when he started to put the lines in for the mouth, after he started doing some of the basic painting, it sort of really, really went, but he pulled him back.
Yeah, that's the Robert I recognise.
She's really caught him, especially in the eyes. The thing that concerns me is it's very worked, and so you don't get any breathing space. I think as a consequence, it feels a bit forced.
Samira had this in the bag quite early on.
I love it.
And I think it's quite remarkable to get such a good sense of likeness when it's all fighting each other.
All the elements do fight, and it gives it the energy, then it's sort of kinetic energy.
Now they must choose their top 3 artists.
This one, I'm just finding it more and more captivating.
Yeah.
It's sort of, I feel like I'd want to live with that one a little bit more.
I'm just going to stand in front of this one and look at the other 3.
Nice.
Yeah.
Really nice,
It's a
actually.
good 3.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah, lose it. Yeah.
So which 3 have they chosen to be shortlisted?
The first artist is Phil Tyler.
The second artist is Samira Addo.
And the third and final artist to be shortlisted is Linton Palmer-Hemsley.
Thank you to all who didn't quite make it. We've enjoyed your company and we've enjoyed your art very much. Thank you.
Brilliantly well done.
I mean, I'm sad, of course, but I'm really pleased for those 3. So, hey, try next year.
With today's work alongside each of the shortlisted artists' self-portraits, there's something we'd like the judges to clarify.
There is a moment when you guys start dragging easels around. What's the effect of having them all in one space like that?
In a way, it's a sort of fresh pair of eyes because you take them out of the order that they've been in all day and some sort of start having a life of their own beyond today's event.
Or it's like the way you might hang your pictures at home. You see that X doesn't work next to Y, or suddenly Y pops out so much more because it's so much better. So that comparison also allows you to judge quality.
So I think we were all slightly blown away by Samira's submission, weren't we?
But what I asked her about was the background, and I said, promise me you're going to put in some background, and she chose not to. And
There's a little bit there.
Yeah,
I do agree with you, Joan. I think it would have been nice to see more of a background, but I'm not sure that it was necessary. I think she was given something and she probably didn't want to work with it.
Lyndon, of course, has been with us before, and I think his self-portrait is terrific. I'm not sure that I quite see those skills transposed to today's work, but...
He's got a great sense of colour and he paints very beautifully. Today he really put it on in a very luscious way.
I think he caught her gaze really beautifully, and I think, you know, that brilliant cinematic pillar box. I think there's some really lovely parts to that painting.
I think in Phil's case here, he says he does do a lot of these kind of studies. Now, you put him in a completely different situation surrounded by pink, and he's decided to sort of focus, go out and observe very well.
And he does make that pink grubby and a little bit aggressive, which is not that easy to pull off. And I really applaud him for being able to give us both those things.
It's very difficult today because they were all very much of a level, the artists today. And normally we have, you know, 5 or 6 that really sort of bubble to the surface and really shout. But today it was very even, so it was much closer, I think.
Phil, Samira, Linton, congratulations on having got so far, but there can only be one winner.
And that winner has been chosen, and it is... Samira Addo.
Well done.
I feel really fortunate to be picked from such a good selection of paintings.
You've done it.
Thank you, Nara.
I used to draw with Samira when she was little. She's done brilliantly, and I'm really proud of her.
Been absolutely brilliant. You know, really well-deserving winner. Samira's portrait today is stunning.
There's no disappointment, really. Samira absolutely deserved that. Really pleased for her. And I'm just dead chuffed to got through to the final 3.
It was a close day today, but the reason Samira went through is because there was just something so interesting about the way that she tackled taking a likeness. For her, it was about the act of painting. It was a constant negotiation. That process is a bit reckless, but it was so rewarding.